Yo everybody, this is Dark Storm Comic Reviews here, and today we're going to be taking a look at and reviewing ShadowHawk Series 2, Issue 2. Now before we get into the story, I do want to go over ShadowHawk's backstory, because as I mentioned in my last review with Sonic the Hedgehog and friends traveling to the Image Comics universe, which you can check out, that was my last video, I mentioned that I was a huge fan of the character ShadowHawk, who is a part of Image Comics. And particularly, I'm a fan of the first ShadowHawk, which we're looking at right here. It was called Paul Johnstone. And as I mentioned before, Paul Johnstone, who was the first ShadowHawk, was an attorney. You know, he was like a lawyer. You know, he would try to work with his clients in court cases and try to prove if they were guilty or not guilty. You know, stuff like that. He's basically a lawyer, and basically, what happens is that, you know, he's a lawyer, he's trying to do the right thing, he's trying to be a good guy, you know, fight for justice and all that. But then he finds out that his younger brother, gets involved in some bad business with some gang members and stuff, and he tries to go talk to the gang members and tell them, hey, my brother doesn't need to be a part of this, you know, you need to leave him out. Well, of course, the gang members don't like the fact that, you know, Paul is trying to tell them, you know, to leave his brother out of it. So the gang members get upset, they start attacking Paul, and they actually end up injecting him with a disease known as HIV or AIDS. And so Paul Johnstone is injected with AIDS by the gang members, and he gets the disease. And then when he gets the disease, he's like, oh, well, I'm slowly going to die because the disease of AIDS is slowly killing him. You know, he got injected with it by the gang members because he was trying to stop them from getting his brother into bad stuff. But anyways, he's injected with it, and the AIDS disease is slowly killing him. So he's thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna eventually die a slow death. I might as well do something about it, and I might as well, you know, while I'm still alive, you know, actually bring justice to the criminals. You know, not do it legally by the courts, but you know, do my own version of justice. You know, which in the way he does that, he by bringing his own form of justice, what he does is he immobilizes the criminals. So basically what he does is, you know, instead of killing them simply, you know, like the Punisher would do, the Punisher, he just shoots you and he kills you, Paul Johnstone, ShadowHawk, he actually immobilizes the criminals. So he handicaps them by breaking their spines, and because to him that's a worse punishment than just killing them, because you know, if you kill somebody, it's to him it's oh, well, I'm just giving them, you know, an easy ride off. You know, if I immobilize them, they got to live with that pain, you know, for the rest of their life. You know, they got to live with that pain and all that stuff for as long as they live. You know, so to him that's a worse punishment than just killing them. So he prefers to handicap people by you know, breaking their spines and stuff. So, and yeah, he's a pretty interesting character. I really like him a lot. The thing that makes him interesting to me is that, I mean, he's a man who's basically dying. You know, he's basically dying. He's going to die eventually. And later on, he actually does die, but he also comes back to life later on. But later on in the comics, but that's a few years later. But the idea of just this guy who's slowly dying from a disease, you know, and while also trying to be a superhero, but knowing that he's going to die soon, is a pretty interesting concept. So, but yeah, this issue is particularly really cool because the reason I wanted to talk about it is that it deals with the concept of racism, and and here's the racist right here, and it deals with racism. But the cool thing is that it doesn't deal with it in again, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just stating how I feel. It doesn't deal with it in a kind of shove it down your throat way, it's really trying to push that racism's bad, we shouldn't do it. It's not it's preaching to you. This book does it in a really good and interesting way, and I really like how it's handled. But yeah, this is a ShadowHawk right here taking off his helmet, and I'll tell you who this guy is in just a second. But yeah, so hopefully I explained the origin to you guys pretty well. I'll probably do it again when I review the other issue just to make sure, because I tend to talk too fast and it's hard to understand me. But we're going to go ahead and get into the issue. I really like this cover, by the way. It's really cool. I actually got this at a comic book store. It's somewhere. And I got it in a dollar bin. And I really liked it. and this book is actually what got me to read more ShadowHawk, because I learned about the character some time ago, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to get into him or not. But after I read this, I'm like, oh, this character is really cool. So I want to take you guys on that journey. So show you how cool this character is. So okay, let me just turn to the cover. We get this really cool. Here we go. Image Comics presents ShadowHawk and the Secret Revealed, and we get this really cool picture of his helmet. You get to see all the people who wrote it. Jim Valentino is the guy who created ShadowHawk, so that's pretty cool. And again, he actually brought Paul Johnstone back, because Paul Johnstone did end up dying of his AIDS disease, but then later on, you know, they ended up bringing him back to life, from what I can tell. But yeah, anyways, we're going to start out. We get this really cool splash image. This is what I love about Image Comics is their artwork. It just looks so gorgeous and very detailed. I mean, in my opinion, this looks really cool. Other people may have different opinions. I really like it. Image Comics is the first time I really noticed artwork. And I just really like the art. It's really, really cool. He talks about how he doesn't like rain and how he hates it. And if you thought that picture was cool, it gets even better. So, as we turn, we get this cool page here. Look at this. Taking all the detail, it's pretty cool. You get the rain dripping off of the... ShadowHawk is like standing on top of a gargoyle in New York City, because that's the city he protects. We get this cool shot of this gargoyle dripping with rain. Pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie. And then so we keep going. And ShadowHawk's just talking to himself, you know, he's talking about how someone's like using his identity, and it's kind of like, I think from what I remember, he's like we're going into the future, and he's saying like someone stole my identity. I don't know who this is, but I'm going to find him. And we get this cool splash page of him jumping off the building, which is really, really cool. And then we got Lieutenant Jax here, who he's important to the ShadowHawk story, because he's always trying to he wants to capture ShadowHawk because he thinks he's like a menace to society, and he needs to be locked up. It's very much like a J. Jonah Jameson situation. But they're just kind of talking, and they're trying to figure out what they need to do with ShadowHawk. We get these cool picture advertisements for the Max, which are some more early 90s Image Comics. And we got a Spawn one over here. Pretty much everybody knows who Spawn is, I believe. I would like to think most people do. Anyways, they're still talking. And, he hires what I believe, we got a cool cameo by Chapel here. He hires some thugs to take care of ShadowHawk, or somebody does. And then we get to this next page, and we see ShadowHawk doing some cool stuff. We see him breaking someone's spine. It's pretty cool. Like I said before, ShadowHawk believes in... ShadowHawk is an anti-hero. So he doesn't believe in just killing the bad guys, because he thinks that's too easy. He thinks the bad guys should live with their pain, so he likes to immobilize them, handicap them, so that they can live with their pain. Because ShadowHawk thinks that killing someone's just too easy, so they gotta live with their pain. So you can see him like damaging someone's spine here. It's pretty cool. And the bad guys are just talking. You know, they're chatting on what their plan's gonna do to take down ShadowHawk. Oh, here we get to our scene where the book gets really, really interesting. So we got this guy, and at first, okay, this is where it gets good. So first, it seems like it's just normal place. Guys, all normal. We got the sweet old lady here. You got his mom. Oh man, I spoiled it. But then it all seems normal. But then you see a picture of the Ku Klux Klan, and you're like, this can't lead to anywhere good. And you can already tell what type of guy this is. So you see the picture, and it's funny because the book presents it as just like a normal situation. He's like a guy, he lives in a house, you know, he's got his mom living with him. Everything seems cool, everything seems chill. Then you see the Ku Klux picture, and then you're like, and if for those of you who don't know, the Ku Klux Klan was like this clan back in like the, I don't know, I'm trying to remember, like 1800s or so. They didn't like black people. They would, they would do terrible things to them and stuff like that. But anyways, they were basically like a racist hate group against black people. They didn't like black people and they would do terrible things to them. But anyways, he goes out into the rain, and it's all rainy. It's a pretty cool picture. Then we see ShadowHawk, and he's like sitting on the roof, talking to himself. He's trying to find out like who might have acquired like a lookalike of his armor, because apparently somebody has gone out and like made a mock-up of his armor, and he's like trying to figure out who it is. So he's like looking for clues, and he's looking for clues out in this like out in the rain of the city. And then he sees someone who he thinks looks suspicious, and we see that the guy who's a racist transforms into what is known as HawksShadow. And I'm not kidding you guys. This guy literally takes ShadowHawk's name. This racist, takes ShadowHawk's name and like flips it backwards and calls himself HawksShadow. If that isn't what an ignorant racist would probably call himself. Literally, he just takes the name and flips it over. But yeah, so basically his whole thing, it's pretty. Basically, this guy's whole thing, because he's a racist, right? This guy just legit. So his whole thing is like he just legit doesn't like black people. He hates black people. He hates the sight of them simply because they're a different skin color than him, and he just hates them. Like that's it. And his basic goal is like he wants to eradicate New York City of all the black people, and he wants to take it over and make the city like nothing but white people. Like he wants to be the ultimate guy who eradicates all the black people. So he's like, the power to take back the city is gonna be mine. I'm gonna get rid of all these black people and I'm gonna take it over, and it's gonna be nothing but white people. And that's basically his whole deal. And so he sees these couple black dudes he sees these couple, African American guys hanging out, and he decides, I'm gonna take you guys out because you got a different skin color than me, and I'm just gonna take you guys out, which of course is wrong. And you already by reading this just don't like this character, because obviously he's just, he's very ignorant, he's very racist, But the story is set up that way, and but he's taking out these guys just because of their different skin color. When you first did them in language, which I'm not going to say, but, it's right here, you can see it. And he just kills them because he's just a racist who doesn't think equality should exist among other people and races. So ShadowHawk sees this. Obviously, he doesn't like it. He goes out, he goes to save the day. And we get this cool, I love the way this book is drawn. Like, ShadowHawk looks so cool here. You can see the mouth and like his mask. It's really, really cool. And then we get this awesome splash page where we see ShadowHawk and then HawksShadow together. And it's okay. Here's the funny part, though. He's like, "Oh, you're ShadowHawk," but here's the thing: he doesn't know that ShadowHawk. And this is the funny part. He doesn't. The racist dude, HawksShadow, doesn't know that ShadowHawk is a black guy, and HawksShadow basically thinks that ShadowHawk's whole objective as a person, as a hero or whatever, is to like just kill all black people like him. And it's funny because ShadowHawk isn't himself a black person, so that's what makes it funny and kind of messed up. Because HawksShadow is like, oh, ShadowHawk, you like to kill black people just like I do, and we're gonna kill all these black people, and we're gonna make it just white people. And obviously ShadowHawk's like, it's funny because ShadowHawk is like, Are you freaking serious, you moron? There's actually no, I'm going to save that. But anyway, ShadowHawk starts fighting him. We get this really cool action sequence where the racist guy gets the tar beat out of him, and it's pretty satisfying to see, because, this guy's obviously, like, he's racist. You don't want to see this guy win, So ShadowHawk starts beating the tar out of him. It's fun to watch. But then HawksShadow strikes back. ShadowHawk keeps going. And HawksShadow's like, oh, but you like to kill, right? You like to kill these people. ShadowHawk's like, I don't kill. And that's true, because like I said, ShadowHawk occasionally does kill, but his main thing is that he immobilizes people. Like, his whole thing is like, I like to handicap people, criminals, so like they can feel the pain that they've done to others, basically. That's his whole thing. So he's right about saying he doesn't kill, because he really doesn't. So he keeps, beating the tar out of HawksShadow here. And then here we get the awesome reveal. It's like, and HawksShadow, it's like, oh, only do what you do, man. Calm down. We're taking down, the black people, the African Americans. I'm just doing what you do. And so ShadowHawk's like, oh, that's what you think I'm doing here. Well, let me show you the truth. You ignorant, racist fool. And then we get to this awesome page reveal where ShadowHawk reveals his true identity to the guy. Or usually, wait, hold on. There we go. It was hidden from me. Check it out, guys. This is freaking awesome. I'm gonna try my best to show this. It's kind of hard. Okay, this is gonna be kind of hard. Basically, it's gonna be a hard way to film this, but he's like, wait, what? And ShadowHawk's like, you mean like me? You think I kill black people even though I'm black? Me? And he's super ticked off, which he should be. Rips off his mask and shows the guy, and it's such a cool image because the guy is just like startled by like, what? What? You're a black guy and you're like not into killing other black? What? Like, what? And it's kind of funny, but it's cool because of how surprised the racist guy is. He rips off his mask, and then we get into this really awesome scene where ShadowHawk just starts like kicking the tar out of him. Like, here we got this scene right here, and it's very satisfying to watch this guy get his butt beat. It's very, very satisfying to watch ShadowHawk, especially after that awesome reveal. And so we see ShadowHawk beat up the guy, and then ShadowHawk starts. It's hard to film. ShadowHawk jumps on the guy. HawksShadow throws a punch back at him. HawksShadow keeps beating ShadowHawk. And then ShadowHawk, after being beat, it's like, sorry guys, the wind. It's like, I'm through with this. Oh, and the guy says something, HawksShadow says something like, well, this is our country. Being very racist and bigoted. He goes, this is our country, our people's country. This isn't your people's country. And then he goes, your country? Your country? And then he just starts beating the tar out of him, and it's so satisfying to watch. And then he shows HawksShadow what's what and takes claws at him. And then, he just starts beating him up, and he starts bleeding, and he's about to kill him, but then his friend comes to stop him. I have to wrap this up, guys. I think it's going to rain. His friend stops him from doing it because his friend Christina stops him because she says, you don't need to be, I know what this guy did. What he did was wrong. He was racist. But your motto, ShadowHawk. Your motto is to not kill anybody, but just to mobilize. And that would be going against your code. And she eventually talks ShadowHawk out of it. Out of killing the guy. They kind of wrap it all up. ShadowHawk is like, okay, I won't kill the guy. You see the cops come back and they find, I am kind of going through this because it's kind of about to rain quick, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. You see the HawksShadow, they take him away. But then we see that the cop decides to hire another guy to take down ShadowHawk, and it's this bounty hunter guy whose name is Slaughter, and it's a tie into the next issue. So I think that's it. We get these cool pinups of ShadowHawk here. It's pretty dope, pretty neat. I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly. I'm just trying to get this fixed. Here we go. There we go. So yeah, that was ShadowHawk issue 2. I really like it because it shows how bad racism can be, but it does it in like a really good way where it's not like preaching. I'm not trying to be offensive. It's the same thing with Christianity where, I'm a Christian too, and it's like you got those people who preach Christianity, but they preach it to the point where it doesn't do anything. It just kind of makes you annoyed, and it feels like they're shoving it down your throat. And some comics tend to do that when they want to talk about race issues. They try to talk about it, but it kind of appears as if they try to kind of really shove it down your throat to the point where you're like, okay, we get it, and it is a serious issue. Racism is definitely a serious issue that definitely needs to be talked about. But I feel like there are better ways to handle it than being very. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but being, I guess, very forceful with it. I guess I could say. I'm not trying to be offensive. This is just my opinion. But I really liked what this book did with it and how it portrayed it and how it was over the top, obviously, but I like how this guy, they present this guy as very unlikable from the start. He's very racist. You don't care for this guy at all. And it's satisfying to see the revelation that this guy thinks that ShadowHawk is very, he thinks ShadowHawk is very, he's like him, he just wants to eradicate people of a different race, and obviously that's not true. And then we get the revelation that ShadowHawk is indeed a black guy, and he's surprised, and then ShadowHawk just beats the tar at him because of his opinions are obviously very, very wrong. And but yeah, that's ShadowHawk 2 issue 2. I just wanted to talk about it. I'll probably talk some more about some more ShadowHawk issues because I really do love this character. He's probably my favorite, honestly, my favorite African American superhero or anti-hero. But it's thundering, and I gotta go. So, but yeah, I'll do another one soon. And this has been Dark Storm Comic Reviews. Signing off. Hopefully you all understood me because I tend to talk pretty fast. But yeah, signing off. Goodbye, guys. This has been Dark Storm Comic Reviews.